Record on computer. Thank you. All right, so I am going to start off with these skinny mixes, mac and cheese with a twist. So you've probably heard this recipe. It's quite popular. I have made a lot of changes to this recipe just to make it really easy and quick. It's already an easy recipe in terms of, you know, the ingredients that you're using, but I've just really minimized the washing up, the cleaning up, and really quick and simple. So I'm really excited to share that with you. So the first thing I do when I start my mac and cheese is just boil some macaroni on the pot. It's just boiling water with macaroni, very easy. So I don't actually use the Thermomix for that because one, I think it takes a little longer and it can be fiddly. So I just do it on the stove. The next thing I do is grab the simmering basket. And in the simmering basket, we're going to steam some vegetables. So you can do that in the simmering basket. You can steam in the basket. It doesn't have to be Viva Roma. As long as you put just water to cover the blades, the simmering basket sits on top. It's going to steam what's in there. So we're going to add some vegetables, which are going to form part of the sauce. And the kids have no idea. And I have a funny story to share with you about that as well. So it's zucchini, carrot. I'm only doing half the recipe at the moment because the other half, that was the kids' dinner. And it makes a massive tray. So I thought I'll do half then and I'll do half now. So you would have double this in the basket and it fits. And you could even add more if you wanted to. So zucchini, carrot, sweet potato. And yeah, that's all in there. And then we're just going to add some water. Let me grab something just to get some water. You can use boiling water as well. Use boiling water straight from the kettle will be a lot quicker. So you want about not even a litre of water. Just pop it in there. And that is going to steam. Okay, so we're going to put that for, I think it took about, again, it depends how chunky your vegetables are, but mine took 12 minutes. The recipe says 10, but mine took 12. Set it to Varoma and then just go to speed 2.5, 3, does it better? So that's going to steam. And then once that's done, we'll come back to me and I'll show you the very easy next steps to get some really yummy mac and cheese on the table. So next, we're going to go, whilst that's cooking, we're going to go to Sue, who's going to show us the pumpkin chicken puree.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing pumpkin chicken puree. I have a 6-month-old grandson, so he's going to get this food when he visits tomorrow. So it's a recipe on Cookie Do. So we've got 350 grams of pumpkin, 200 grams of apple, and we're going to chop that for 3 seconds on speed 7. I'll show you what that looks like. So there's our chopped apple and pumpkin. I'll scrape that down. $20 grams of olive oil. Filtered water. And the chicken, that's 350 grams of chicken thigh. And that's going to cook for 8 minutes at speed 2 at 90 degrees. And I'll come back to you when that's finished cooking.
Okay, great. So once that's done, let me know. Mine will be ready roughly at the same time. So whilst we're waiting for that, we're going to go to Christina, who's going to show us the cauliflower chicken nuggets. Over to you, Christina.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us this evening. I decided to do a grazing platter, but a children's version. And I don't know if you can see from the screen there, but I've actually got my cauliflower chicken on the right with some tomato sauce. I've actually steamed some broccolini and some carrots, and I've also got some cucumber sticks, and later I'll be showing you how to make the cashew spread. So what I really like about Cookie Do is that when you scroll down to the recipe, there's hints and tips at the bottom that will actually give you some advice. If you've got fussy eaters, what you could change the recipe with, especially if there's some ingredients that your children don't like. And I discovered when making these that I could do them two ways. One with the quinola seeds on the outside, one without, because some children are fussy, as we know. So we'll just start cooking. And the first thing we're going to do is actually grate the cheese. So we like to buy our Parmesan cheese in blocks. So I don't know if you realise that a lot of the cheeses that you buy in the shops have anti-caking ingredients so that they don't stick together. So what I love about the Thermomix is that you can actually prepare your ingredients from scratch, okay? So buy your Parmesan cheese in blocks. It's a lot cheaper and it lasts a lot longer in your fridge. So we're going to whisk that for 8 seconds. Sorry, that was 20 seconds, not 8 seconds. Okay, and next we're going to add the hidden vegetables in this ingredient is the cauliflower. You just cut them up into little florets, add them in. Okay. Next. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. So Sandra, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I made a mistake. Guess what I did?
Oh, that's okay. What happened?
I added the cauliflower with the cheese, and I'm supposed to add the quinola.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, we'll
That's
just
all right. It happens.
improvise.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm actually doing first is instead of using breadcrumbs, we're actually using quinola, okay, which I've already measured out here. So instead of breadcrumbs, it's good for children that are gluten-free or for family members that are gluten-free. And we'll just blitz that for 3 seconds. And that's going to form our breadcrumbs. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It's quite fine. Okay, they'll hardly notice what it is. Okay. Roll straight on. And now we're going to add our cauliflower florets straight in. And some, it asked for parsley, but I didn't have parsley, and I quite like what do I have here, Mario? Coriander. Coriander, sorry. Okay, so just a few sprigs of coriander. If your children don't like anything green, you could always opt out, or you could change the type of herbs that you have in there. I'm going to blitz that.
Maybe. Diddy, come here.
3 seconds.
Come here, Diddy. Can I have a big cuddle?
Okay, it's asked me to scrape down the sides. Okay, now I'm using chicken thigh fillets that I've cut into 3 centimetre cubes. There's 350 grams there. Add it straight in. Okay. Tamari sauce, which is basically a brand of soy sauce. So that's going to add your seasoning. So you don't need to add salt or any other kind of seasoning ingredients. And it also says to add a tablespoon of paste in the next step. I'm going to add all that in.
If you don't have tamari, you can use soy sauce. The difference is, I think tamari is gluten-free and soy sauce normally isn't, but they taste almost identical.
Okay. What I find with when you're blitzing meat, sometimes you might have to repeat the step. So when I tested this recipe, I found going back one step and just repeating that actually gave me a nicer consistency. So I'm just going to give it one more turn. Okay. So basically the next step, and I'm not going to take all of that out, is to shape them into chicken nuggets. And the way you do that is a 3-step crumbing process. To make this recipe gluten-free, it asks for gluten-free flour, and you can make your own gluten-free flour just by milling rice, okay, which I have here as well. And to shape them into chicken nuggets, I just use a teaspoon, form them into little nuggets, into the rice flour, then into the egg wash, then the quinola and Parmesan cheese crumb. So that's what it looks like. And what I did was I fried some on the pan with some olive oil, and these ones here I baked without the quinola seeds and the Parmesan, just in case some children don't like to have that. And this one here is an example of baked as well. So if you're watching, you know, your diet, or you don't want them to have too many things that are fried, baking them is another option. So I might hand over to you, Sandra, while I prepare these and get ready for the cashew spread.
Yeah, okay, no worries. We can continue. So my vegetables there are still steaming away. I've got another 2 minutes to go. Sue, I think you'd be almost ready, right?
Oh, yep. Yeah,
okay, go for it.
So that's our apple, chicken, and pumpkin. Now we add 3 sprigs of parsley, just the leaves, and we cook that for another 2 minutes. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. So 2 minutes, speed 2 at 90 degrees.
And then at the end of that, Sue, you're going to puree it all, aren't you?
That's right. Then it just purees.
Yeah. Okay. Well, show us once it's pureed. Yeah. Because then I can show me what. Do the puree and then come back.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. So I'm going to get started on the mini vegetable pasta. Now, this is a dish that I actually learned to do myself without cookie dough, and then I realized, we've got something similar on cookie dough. I mean, how amazing is cookie dough? There's always a recipe on there that you want, because my son, who is 4 now, has always been so extremely fussy, and I used to have to buy for him, bought it once when we were on holidays, those Rafferty pouches, and he loved them. And, you know, I had to give it to him so many times because I didn't know what to feed him. But then I learned to make it myself, and obviously homemade is best, and he loved it. But it's on cookie dough. It's called mini vegetable pasta. Really delicious, full of veggies. It makes so much. So let's get started. We're going to add a brown onion in here. So brown onion and some garlic. We're going to chop that up and puree it. chop it up and then saute it. So 1 brown onion, 2 garlic cloves, pop it in, 3 seconds on speed 7. As easy as that. We're going to scrape down the sides. You've seen these spatulas from our mix shop. They're so good. So there's our chopped onion and garlic. And just scrape down the sides, and we're going to add some, let me just turn that off. We're going to add 20 grams of olive oil. There we go. And we're going to saute that. So saute that for 2 minutes on speed 2. So whilst that's happening, I'll pop it over here and I'm going to show you. Oh, here we go. Okay. I want to show you how to remove that safely, especially if you're new to Thermomix. So 2 minutes, speed 1. Okay, so we've got the bowl here with the vegetables inside, which are steamed. I'm very confident they are. I added boiling water from the kettle too, just to speed it along. You use your spatula to lift up the basket. Now, these new baskets have a lid. Just be careful that when you do that you're not going to burn your hand. Okay, so those vegetables are steamed. I'm going to discard the water, and then I'm going to tip those steamed vegetables into the bowl, and we're going to puree them. Okay, so where is the lid? Here we go. So if you're following along, we're back to the mac and cheese. Okay, so I'm going to puree that now. So probably speed 7 for a few seconds. That was only 5 seconds. Now the recipe says to grab that and just pour it on top of your cooked macaroni. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so that is now pureed. Now I'm going to add the bechamel ingredients and just cook it together with the vegetables rather than taking it out and so on. So we're going to add 500 grams if you're following the full recipe. So let me just go to the scales. So remember, I'm doing half, so that's why I'm only adding 250. All right, 250 grams of milk. And then we're going to add 50 grams of flour, or 25 grams if you're doing half. We got some pepper. We have some some vegetable stock paste. The recipe does say to use chicken. I never have chicken. I always have vegetable. If you haven't made this yet, get onto it because it's so good. We have some butter, a bit of Dijon mustard, and that's it. That all goes in there. So that's going to form part of the sauce with the vegetables. And what else are we going to add? That's it. And you know what? I just remembered. I should have chopped up some cheese. So I'll do that at the end. Okay, this is why having a second bowl sometimes is really good. But mine's in the dishwasher, so that's not going to help. All right, so pop that in there. Let me just check that I have all the ingredients. So now that's going to cook for 8 minutes. So because as it's cooking, it's going to stir it and blend it all nicely and thicken at the same time. Okay, so we want that 6 minutes. Stop that on 90 degrees on speed 4. Okay, so that will cook it nicely and stir it so you won't get any lumps. All right, so I think we'll be ready to go back to Sue actually. Yep,
we're ready. So here's our pumpkin, apple and chicken puree, and I taste tested it and it tastes really nice. It's the first time I've made it, and I've still got more in the bowl. So I'll put that in either freezer cubes, keep some out for tomorrow, but freeze it into snap lock bags or freezer cubes for when the grandson's over. You could add cook pasta and mix it with pasta for the bigger kids, and it'd be really nice. And add some cheese. So yeah, great recipe.
Awesome, thanks Sue. So my onion and garlic has sauteed. So we've got that there. And so now we're going to add our vegetables. So we have 100, oh, there was more onion in there. Oh, well. We have 130 grams of carrot, 150 grams of pumpkin in there. We have some ripe tomatoes. Now it says 500 grams of ripe tomatoes. I'm just going to add a can, because this is what I used to do when I didn't have this recipe, and the can works fine. And if they eat it, great. And if they don't, then you haven't wasted half a kilo of fresh tomatoes. And some tomato paste. I've got some tomato paste there. And I've also added some like Italian herbs, because I know the Rafferty's have a lot of that. And because I want it to be exactly the same, I add them as well. And now later on, it says to add some mushrooms and some zucchini. I'm going to do it now because I'll explain why in a bit, because I'm actually going to add meat to this. And so because I don't want to puree the meat, I'm pureeing this now all together. So 8 seconds on speed 7. So it's going to give a really nice chop. I add another couple of seconds. Okay, so there we go. Let's have a look. So you may need to chop it for a bit longer, but I think that's fine because it's going to cook for a while, and so all of that is going to break down. But if you needed to take it a bit longer, then you would do that. Okay, so scrape down the sides. Now this is where I'm going to add some minced meat. Okay, I had that frozen. You could add more if you wanted to, but geez, this recipe makes a lot. It really makes a lot. And whatever, it's actually a really nice tomato-based sauce. So if you make so much, obviously it can be frozen. But if you don't want to freeze it, you can just have it with pasta with the older kids. Now, this trick, I love this. So this says to put the simmering basket on top, because this is going to allow the steam to escape but no splatter, so you don't get a runny sauce. And it's going to cook for 10 minutes on 95 degrees, speed 2. So when that's done, it's done. And then we just eat it with pasta. So I'll show you once it's finished. And I'll just pop that aside. Okay, so that's still taking a while. So we can go to, let me have a look. Amanda for the zucchini, ham, and corn bites.
Hi. Can you hear me? All right, guys. Hey, how are you tonight? I am making the zucchini, ham, and corn bites. Now, just let me get the corn out. It's quite warm today, so I didn't leave it out. All right, so these are really good, really quick and easy snacks to put either in the kids' lunch boxes. My 3-year-old loves them, and because they're not big, if he eats 2 or 3, he's really proud of himself. It's really only 1 he's eaten, but because they're tiny, he can just put them all in his mouth, easy to grab. They're really tasty. The adults love them as well. All right, so it says preheat your oven to 180. We've done that. It's preheating as we speak. Now this is spray. It says spray 224 whole mini muffins. So these ones, you can actually buy this on the mix shop. I already had these in the cupboard. I think they're actually from Woolies. It's with coconut oil. I'm only doing half the recipe because I've already done half the recipe, so I've got some to show you that are already cooked. But yeah, these are the same ones I use for the cheese bites too. All right, so that's what I've organised. Now it says 140 grams of zucchini, so I've just pop that up. The best part about these two is that you actually can hide the veggies in it. Kids have no idea. I'll put a little bit more in. I'm just doing half the recipe, so I'm just doing 50 grams of frozen corn. I just use the Woolies, McCain's, whatever is on Woolies. So 25 grams. I'll do a bit over, more veggies won't kill the kid. 100 grams of shaved ham, so I'm just going to use 50. I just buy whatever's on sale in the deli. With Christmas coming, these will be good to make because we probably have a little Christmas ham left over. So again, a little bit more ham doesn't hurt. Okay. What have we got next? So then we're just going to put the lid on and lid on. And we're just going to grind that up. Chop it up, grind it up. And that was 3 seconds. Scrape it down. Okay, and I'll just show you what comes from that. That's all nice and chopped up. That was literally 3 seconds. Okay, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable stock. Now, I literally have just finished making this batch today because I didn't have any left, and I always have a container of it. Look, this is vegetable stock. A lot of people make this up and put it in separate bags so it's ready to go. If I'm not taking it anywhere and I'm just keeping it at home, I put it in one container and it doesn't freeze solid because of the salt content. So I can just get my clean measuring spoon or spoon and I just scrape it off frozen. To be honest, I don't bother dividing it all up into bags unless I've got to take it to someone's house. All right, 30 grams of arrowroot flour, tapioca flour or arrowroot. You'll find that in Woolies. I think it's about $1.70. It's really cheap. And I think you can buy it also from your Asian stores as well in the bigger bags. Pretty sure Sandra has told us that before. So I'm just going to do 15. Sorry, I probably should have used a teaspoon. Tap, 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 come on. Quarter of it, or half a teaspoon of bicarb. Now, obviously, I'm just going to do a bit less than that. A little bit less of bicarb. 30 grams of coconut flour. I do just use the one from Woolies. Now, with this batch, I am going to throw a little bit of cheese in because I had a little bit left over in the fridge from dinner tonight. We had homemade tacos, so I'm just going to use it in this because I think a little cheese would go nice in it. It's not part of the recipe, but I know. I'm going to do 4 eggs, 2 for me because I'm going to be in time. I don't know how much cheese I put in, honestly, because it was just left over. It's probably about maybe 50 grams of cheese. Put the lid on. It's going to give that a mix for 20 seconds.
Whilst that's mixing, I want to show you, so the bechamel is done with the vegetables in there. So it's got like that orangey color, which is typical of mac and cheese if you use like, you know, that yellowish cheddar cheese. I did wash my extra bowl and mill the cheese. So now I'm just going to mix that in with the sauce. And we're just going to cook that for another 2 minutes. And then that's basically done. So let me just scrape down the sides and I'll pop that back in the Thermomix for another couple of minutes. Back to you, Amanda.
Sorry, yeah. We're back. Okay, so that's just 20 seconds. And you can have a look at that. It is quite thick, which is good. It's not really runny, it's nice and thick. And the best part about that is you can just use a teaspoon, I'll show you in a second, to scoop that into your pan. So, all you need to do, you don't need to fill these all the way up. It says fill them up halfway because they do rise a bit. And remember, you want them to be right size. So I just probably do about a teaspoon. I'll just fill a couple and just show you. how they look. And they go in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay, keep an eye on them. I think my last batch were done in about 18, just before. Kids don't want them too hard around the edges. So you can just see that. So I'll make them a little bit neater so they're nice on top. Halfway and they'll rise. All right, back to you, Sandra. I'll get some out when they're done.
Okay, awesome. So my sauce for the mac and cheese is done. So it's only got another 50 seconds to go. It really is just to melt the cheese. Now, when I first made this, well, I made it a few times, and then I actually told my, she was little at the time, she's 10 now, but I told her, it's got heaps of veggies, because she would smash it. And I said, oh, that's loaded with veggies, did you know? And she was so shocked. And then a while later, she said, Mum, can you make mac and cheese, but the real mac and cheese, like, you know, without all those veggies? And I said, yeah, sure, of course I can do that. Anyway, I made the exact same recipe as, you know, with all the veggies, and she's eating it, smashing it. She said, oh, Mum, this is so much better than the other one. And it was the exact same thing. I had to run into my pantry and laugh because it was hilarious. I'll never forget that. Every time I make this mac and cheese, I remember that. So there's that beautiful sauce, and then you just pour it over your pasta. Now, it seems quite runny, right? But once it cools down, it thickens quite a bit. And actually, I add less pasta than what the recipe says by about 75 grams, I think, because I find it's too much pasta, not enough sauce, especially when the sauce thickens. So, yeah, I'll put a little less. But, yeah, it does not stay running like this. I've actually got a bit there that I can show you what it looks like. And then sprinkle some cheese on top. You can never have enough cheese with mac and cheese. And pop that in the oven just until the cheese melts a little and it browns a bit on top. And that's beautiful. So loaded with veggies and so easy to make, as you can see. And with all that, if I had remembered to grate the cheese in the beginning, we would only have this bowl to wash and the simmering basket. That was it. So no aroma like the original recipe, because that can be a bit of a pain to wash sometimes, I reckon. And that's what it looks like. So as you can see how it's thickened up a lot. So, well, it's cold now. So when I heat it up for my son, I put like a little bit of water from the tap. And so, you know, I pop it in the microwave, and then so it's not as thick, because he likes it creamy. So it's a bit fussy that way. So that's a tip for you. Now my veggie pasta sauce is still cooking away. It's got another 5 minutes to go. Who can we go to next? Christina, can we go to you? How are you going with those nuggets?
Really good, really good. So I've already got one tray in the oven, and there's another tray to go. And just to show you how much this makes, there's more of that mixture. So I could probably make 4 trays in total. So you could quite easily make some for dinner tonight and then freeze some for another day. They freeze really well. So what I'm going to move on to now is the cashew nut spread, but I'm using it as a dip today. So I've just done a pre-clean. I'm just going to go back to my recipes. And start cooking, so yes. Okay, so with cashew nuts, you can buy them roasted or raw. The recipe says you can use either, but I've decided today to use raw. And I've actually modified this recipe slightly. I'm a little bit like Sandra. I don't often follow the recipe, and sometimes you have to make changes based on what you have available. So it's 250 grams of cashews, but I'm going to add a bit more. And 50 grams of sunflower seeds, which I don't have, but I add a little bit of extra of cashew nuts. I'm going to blitz that now. For 1 minute on speed.
What? cold in here. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm boiling. So with the cashew butter, any kind of butter that you're making with nuts or seeds, you've got to really let it keep going for a while, you know, so those oils release and you get a nice paste. You could also throw in, if it's really thick, you can throw in an ice cube, and the ice cube blending with the nuts will help break down the fibers also a lot quicker. And you'll get a smoother paste as well. So that's a trick that actually I learned with a hummus recipe on Cookie Dough called traditional hummus. It actually has quite a bit of ice cubes in it, and you get a really, really nice smooth hummus for that. So it's something that can take a while, making nut butter. However, if you make it, oh my gosh, you save so much money making it yourself compared to shop bought. You know exactly what's in it. You can also add a bit of oil, grapeseed oil as well, to help make it smoother as well. And yeah, and it's just delicious. So cashew butter, almond butter, it's quite expensive, but making it yourself is, so that's one of the ways that you can save. And it's just beautiful, spread on toast. You can throw it in porridge. You can throw it into a smoothie as well, a protein smoothie, just throw in the nut butter. Yeah, so
Sandra, I couldn't access macadamia oil, so I use really good quality virgin olive oil, and it actually asks to sweeten it up. It actually asks for some pure maple syrup. So you have a lot of raw ingredients. Nothing's really processed. You know what's going into your recipe, and it's a good alternative to hummus. You know, something different to give the children. And we're just going to blitz that now. Speed 4 for 30 seconds. And I'm actually going to watch it from the top just to see what the consistency is like, and it's looking quite smooth.
well, Christina, whilst you do that and you get into a consistency that you like, my vegetable sauce, sorry, what's it called? Mini vegetable pasta is done. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. I've just got some pasta here. I had pasta shells, not the best option for little kids. So you'd want maybe the macaroni and cheese, or even the rosini pasta as well. What I've done before is, rather than have pasta separately, I would mix it now inside the bowl in here, and then I would freeze it inside little pots with the pasta already mixed through it. So when I do want it, just take it out of the freezer. I don't have to worry about cooking pasta. So that's something you can do. If you're going to do that, add a little bit of water to this. I'd say about 50 to 100 grams. Then add your pasta, so say your macaroni, and cook it with the packet instructions. If it says, you know, macaroni takes 10 minutes to cook, set it for 10 minutes. The sauce won't overcook. On the other hand, it will just become nicer. So that's your pasta sauce, veggie pasta sauce. And remember, I added minced meat in there. I think it only had like not even 100 grams of minced meat, but you can mince your own chicken and throw it in. So I did that a lot as well. You could even mince your own meat, obviously. But that smells delicious. Actually, whilst Christina was talking, I remembered I added vegetable stock paste to that as well, because I don't think we added any salt, but I do like the flavor of the vegetable stock paste. I think I added a heaped teaspoon in all of this, and there's like a liter of sauce here, so it makes a lot. So maybe you'd like to halve the recipe if that's too much. If not, you can even double it, because there's plenty of room in the bowl. So there you go, our mini veggie pasta. And I'm actually going to eat that because I haven't had dinner, and this will be perfect. All right, Christina, back to you.
So, Sandra, I just want to show everyone how smooth and, you know, decadent that is. So you can actually use that as a spread or as a dip, as an alternative
looks
to say
amazing.
hummus or some of your other dips. It tastes really good, and it's something that
smooth
will
is
probably
it?
keep really well in the fridge. It's
Yeah.
really, it's got the consistency of hummus, maybe a little
Wow.
bit thicker. It's more like a spread, okay, but it looks and tastes really, really nice. I was really impressed with this recipe, and I thought, wow, this is a good alternative to someone that doesn't like hummus, or if you like something a little bit sweeter, full of magnesium. It's, you know, good for your body. So what I like about Thermomix is that you know what ingredients are going in. You can prepare your own dips, your own sauces from scratch, and you're preparing food from raw. And I think that's a bonus. So I actually have the chicken and cauliflower nuggets in the oven. They'll be ready in about 10 minutes, and I'll come back and show you what they look like. Over to you.
Okay, awesome. Something else with the mini veggie pasta, I did remove the simmering basket. Almost choked on pasta. I did remove the simmering basket that I had on top, and I replaced it with the lid because I felt that sauce was getting too thick. So my son doesn't like very thick sauce. He likes it more runny. Oh my gosh, I got the fussiest 4-year-old ever. When I tried to feed him mac and cheese after daycare today, he was adamant he didn't like it. Had a massive argument with me. When I was finally able to put some in his mouth, he does this. I'm like, I know, you love it. And with that mac and cheese, also fried some bacon. So that's something that you can do as well. Just fried it separately and then chucked it in. Anyway, I suffer a lot with trying to feed my 4-year-old. It's a struggle every day. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So we're going to Sue now with, you're going to show us the raspberry, apple and sweet potato puree, I think. Was it compote puree? Can't remember.
Yeah, we're making the raspberry, apple and sweet potato puree. So I've already steamed the apple and the sweet potato. So that's going to go in the bowl. So we've done that. Now we add 125 to 150, well, in a punnet it's 125 grams of raspberries, so they go in, and 30 grams of butter. And that's added that, put the lid on. And that's pureeing for 15 seconds. And there's our fruit puree. And it's delicious. Yum.
I would definitely eat that. Yum, yum. I'm just adding pasta to my sauce and I'm going to cook it in whilst I'm at it. So then it's ready to go. I think that's it, isn't it? Are we going to go back to Christina? Christina's still shaping nuggets. You've got quite a few there.
There is so much. It's unbelievable. There's so much more to go. I'm just wondering, Sandra, what other ingredients would you put in this particular recipe? If you didn't like cauliflower, what else would you put in there?
There's I think there's one with zucchini. There's a few. There's one with pesto chicken nuggets as well. So there's a few on Cookie Dough actually, for kids that have hidden veggies, which is good. Yeah. So yeah. So they're ready. Oh, good.
The ham, cheese and quinoa muffins are very nice, and they have zucchini hidden in them.
They do. That is a really nice recipe.
How do they look, Sandra?
They look amazing. And
Yeah,
again,
that's
if you didn't want the
that's
green,
a healthier option than say the deep fried version. Okay.
yeah, you could even use the air fryer as well if you wanted to.
If you had one, yes, you could.
Yeah. And if you didn't want them to look green, just don't add the coriander or the parsley. You know, if kids are fussy that way, then just don't add it. And you could add some, you know, garlic, you can add some extra herbs. Yeah, there's a lot that you can do with it actually. And they freeze really well, which is really good. Oh, Susan, what a cutie on your lap, your doggy. Oh, it's adorable.
Hey, Sandra, do you want me
Yeah.
to show you my muffins done? Some of them done?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
Okay. So I've just brought a couple over. Ooh, I'll drop them off the plate. Now they are really small, you can see. But they're absolutely delicious. So because again, like Sandra, if I use the stock, it's got a lot of salt in it. So because they are small, you may want to reduce that back a little bit.
Okay.
I find it perfect, but if for the kids and stuff, you might just want to maybe do half the amount. But just inside, they're really
Oh, they
spongy
look,
and light. They're really amazing.
they look really yummy. And you've got a 4-year-old too, don't you?
I do, and he loves them.
Awesome. And perfect bite size.
And
That's
they
a
don't
perfect bite size.
because they're all munched up, so they actually don't realise there's any veggies in there.
Yeah.
Best
That's the
part.
beauty of it.
Yep.
That's the best part. Yeah. Oh. All right, guys. Well, that's it. We have finished for tonight. So again, thanks for joining us. I hope you picked up some tips for your kids, grandkids, for your friends, family, young kids, older kids, because older kids can be fussy too. Keep a lookout for my emails tomorrow with links to the recipes that we did tonight, some photos as well. I have just eaten what I was supposed to take a photo of. I'll do it again. And yeah, and we hope we've inspired you tonight to try some new recipes and get some veggies into these fussy eaters. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch also. Now, we don't have any cooking classes booked for December at the moment, and I don't think we will because we are so busy right now. We are going to be smashed with delivery demos and learning demos in the next few weeks because with the current offer that we had, sales just went absolutely crazy. So we're going to be really busy the next few weeks, and then I'll go off on holidays on the 12th. And we also have our team interview party next week as well that I'm going to be busy preparing. So you'll see our next cooking class hopefully mid-January, but we will keep you updated. Check out our socials and also keep my customers updated with an SMS with our classes that are coming up. So keep a lookout for that. And if we don't see you again until Christmas, have a great holiday, everybody. Great end of year. I don't celebrate Christmas, so but for those that do, just stay safe and have a wonderful summer. And we'll see you again soon. You're welcome, Rebecca. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Emma. Awesome. Let me just stop recording.